Anuj, Maharashtra is where all eyes are on, and the early leads have started coming in, and they are in some way showing a lead for the NDA, although these are just postal ballots being counted. This is a huge state. We'll have to really wait for some time to understand how this consolidation of victory takes place, and even then, we will not be really sure if that's actually the government that's going to be formed. Tell us, how are political parties getting their preparations in order? Because I'm told that there are helicopters on the standby, there are hotel rooms that were booked yesterday. So clearly this is also a projection of confidence, but there's a battle of perception when it comes to Sena versus Sena. How is that battle coming along?
There's a battle of perception throughout the state and also across the different factions here. One thing is for sure is that both the alliances are ready for some sort of unnatural partnerships to take place post the result, because we've seen that there has been some sort of a conflict within both the alliances over several matters. When you talk about Mahayuti, firstly, it's about the chief ministership's face. I mean, of course, in MVA, they made it very clear that, Congress and Rashtravadi did not want to go with the face, but Shiv Sena UBT faction was very much willing to do it. But at the same time, even in Mahayuti, we see that there is not a consensus, because Devendra Fadnavis has been giving hints about coming back to power, but he's also said on multiple times that he's completely out of the race. Then we had Vinod Taude in the center of all the controversies just a day before the polls. We have Eknath Shinde, who made it very clear that Amit Shah had communicated to him that it is under his leadership that the entirety of Mahayuti was fighting the election, which means that the chances of him carrying on as the chief minister, according to the Shinde faction, is very high. But at the same time, they also have the third partner, Ajit Pawar, who's been the deputy chief minister for close to 5 or 6 times and has been very vocal about his willingness to be the chief minister. So when you see all of these things playing out, even in 2019, we saw that one of the major reasons, or if not the actual reason for the Shiv Sena to split away from the pre-poll alliance and part its way away from the Bharatiya Janata Party was, according to them, the BJP not keeping a word of having a 2.5 is to 2.5 years formula as far as the chief ministership is concerned. In this election as well, we can see that just one position of, one executive position can play a very vital role when it comes to deciding the post-poll alliances. Very similar to what happened in 2019. But unlike that, we've seen that especially between the NCP Sharad Pawar faction and the Shinde Sena faction, they both have not really fielded a lot of candidates against each other. And there has been a chatter going around about how, Sharad Pawar and Shinde Sena is keeping their cards open of tying it up with one another if the need comes. One can still not be completely sure about what route is Ajit Pawar faction going to take. Has he parted ways from his uncle for good, or are there ways, for him to make amends? If there's one party which has made its relationship sour with everyone, in the opposition, that is the Uddhav Thackeray faction of Shiv Sena. They have been very vocal and aggressive against, of course, the Bharatiya Janata Party and Shinde Sena for the very basic reason of the party getting split. So we can see very few or less chances of them teaming up. But then, as we heard someone say before, that this is Indian politics and one cannot really predict anything longer term for this. A lot can change in 24 hours. But as of now, we've seen that although the early leads suggest that the Mahayuti would be inching towards the majority mark, but it's just the postal votes. And secondly, one cannot really guarantee that particular alliance to form the government, even if they get the majority mark.